Well, we know this isn't going to be enough. The mayor and the governor have said as much. They need the federal government to help fund the migrant mission and provide more space. The jury, or Congress, is still out on that. A former CVS in Little Village is now a migrant shelter. About 220 asylum seekers about to move in.
It's well managed, and I think that, I feel good about the opportunity there.
Across the city, migrants are still living inside buses at the downtown landing zone. About 300 of the around 600 people waiting to move somewhere.
And I actually visited yesterday. It's phenomenal what we've been able to do in a relatively short period of time and to accommodate very young children. Early childhood education is very important to me, making sure these young children have a place that they can play even in a very difficult situation. That's been put into this site.
This latest space, just a drop in the bucket for the amount of people that need housing.
Hello family, welcome back to another episode of Journey to Harmony. I'm your host Richard Harmon. Today I want to talk to you about how much Chicago so far has spent on the migrant crisis. We know for a fact that this is an ongoing issue, and the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, has promised that he will continue sending migrants. Those who are in New York, Eric Adams has tried his best to circumvent this overall process, but Governor Abbott continues to find ways around the rules that have been implemented, busing some illegal immigrants to a certain portion and giving them tickets to get to New York City, has been some of the methods that he has used. So here we have an issue right now where the city of Chicago has spent upwards of $150 million so far in terms of sheltering, feeding, and clothing. We'll watch a little bit of this video, come back and talk about it. The first time watching, please consider subscribing to the channel. And here we go.
Funding and space are running out. Mayor Brandon Johnson and Governor J.B. Pritzker continue their pleas to Washington.
We haven't seen those dollars yet, not nearly what we should. The federal government needs to do much more.
Today, the city updated their data on migrant-related vendor spending. The total, $156.2 million. That doesn't appear to include how much the city has spent within their own agencies, like the Department of Sanitation or Chicago Public Schools, to educate school-aged new arrivals. Inside shelters, vendor-favored healthcare staffing, a Kansas-based firm, continues to be the highest earner. The city paid them almost $97 million to assist the migrant mission between December 2022 and January of this year. Going forward, CBS 2 has learned the city and state modified their contract with Favorite Staffing to spend an additional $30 million with the staffing firm. In the contract, the city says that amount was an amount they did not know they would need at the start of this, saying in part, quote, it was not reasonably foreseeable at the time the contract was signed.
All right, family, so there it is. $156 million has been spent so far. We see right here that this healthcare agency has been a great receiver so far of the dollars that have been spent. A few months ago, there was a story about a nurse who made about $20,000 in 1 week just working just in terms of the migrant crisis. So there's a lot of people who are definitely getting paid from this. Again, whether it's you're in your healthcare staffing agencies, whether you're a contractor, you're doing so many different things. There's a lot of money being spent here, and that money has to go somewhere. So those people who have contracts, subcontractors who are working under those people are making a ton of money right now in these particular fields. With that, there's a lot of different things that people are afraid of right now in terms of the replacements. There's going to be a lot of issue in terms of housing, as we see there. You can't import 100,000 people into a place that has 15,000 rental units. That's going to cause an issue. And these particular units that their people are living in, whether it's abandoned schools, whether it's these spaces that you see, those aren't permanent situations. So eventually they're going to be moved out of these areas and moved into places where it's more permanent. And many times that's going to cause serious friction and issues in terms of where people live, the cost of housing, the cost of goods, available things and things of that nature. This is definitely going to be inflationary. Not only that, but also that this continues to go on. We have another 10 months or 12 months to go before the election. From that point, we have, the overall passing of from one president to the next. Hopefully it is Donald Trump. We'll see exactly what happens from there. He's a big expected leader and expected winner of this particular time frame. But this is definitely going to be an inflationary act right now. You can't import 12 million people into a country that is already struggling for housing and not expect that to be a problem. And we continue to see influxes of people who are coming into the country. New York City is having their serious issues as these places, Chicago's, LA's, New York City's, have overflow of people. Those who are living there will eventually move to middle of America. They'll move to the South and cause additional issues as well. Down in Florida, the cost of housing, the insurance companies leaving have raised prices astronomically. So again, we're gonna have people emptying out from the north, the south, the east, and the west, and they're going to be dumping themselves into the middle of America, whether it's Ohio, whether it's Georgia, whether it's Kansas, Oklahoma. All of these places can expect a serious rise in terms of influx of migration from both people inside of the country and those from outside of the country. And this is going to have a continued effect on the cost of our everyday life. We'll begin hearing stories about how the bidding wars have returned, and what many banks are doing right now is they are creating products that are targeting those who are from outside of the country looking to become investors. So with so much going on in chaos, is the Israeli war is starting to rage even greater. There's a lot of instability around the world, and people are looking for places where they can put their money that considered safe. In terms of the housing real estate, if you have continued number of people who are looking to come in, that is definitely going to be a definitely safe place for your income. And people are going to be looking to funnel that into this space right now. One thing that I do expect, unfortunately, will be an increase in terms of homelessness, unfortunately. Whether it's the fact that you're in a rental unit or you are someone who owns a home and the cost of everyday life is spiraling outrageous. There's just a lot going on, and unfortunately, many people are not prepared as they're expecting a crash, but things are not as they were in 2008. What are your thoughts on this? Do you believe that there's more to come? Do you believe that this can be reversed, even if in a year when possibly Donald Trump takes over? Or do you think that what has happened has become more of a permanent situation? Let me know below in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe. And thank you so much for joining. Have a good day.